Welcome everyone to today's Teachers Supporting Teachers Collaborama. We're talking about Seesaw today, specifically some ideas to help you with your math instruction for our early elementary kids. We have Lisa Walthall, Alyssa Rush, and Caitlin Boudreau with us, who have shared in Seesaw Collaboramas before. So this is almost becoming like the greatest hits team of sorts. All right, so Helen.
Anyway, I just want to personally welcome everybody. We're really excited. The slides today are fabulous. You're going to want to go later on and look at them on HESD Mission Control. Anyway, so welcome to our presenters and welcome to all our participants.
All right, so to start us off, Lisa Walthall has a few things to share with us. Lisa, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So the first thing I want to talk about is just number one, I'm just so excited to be using Seesaw. We're very fortunate we get to use Seesaw. So what I was most excited about was this idea of allowing children to talk. In class, you know, I want to hear everyone speak, but you really never get a chance to hear everyone speak. So I just really saw Seesaw as this opportunity to hear their voices. So I've been kind of trying to create these open-ended activities where students get to explain their thinking. You know, expanding my number talks that I was using in my class with them. Reality is difficult too, because we're talking kindergartners, so there's a lot of parent support. So sometimes the parents are undoing my talk, but it's okay because I'm finding ways to deal with it. And I will share those today. So let's go to the next slide. So I have a video of one of my students doing her number talk.
3 minus 3 equals not 3, 0, 1. Good job.
And so what I love about this is even getting them in class sometimes to read 3 minus 0 equals 3 or 3 minus 3 equals 0. It becomes so difficult, and at home they're practicing it over and over, and there's 5 slides for each time, so they're practicing it a bunch of times every day. So I use this kind of idea with number talks, but then if we go to the next slide, you'll see I also am just using it now for everything I do basically. So this was just a subtraction page, a subtraction worksheet, and now we get video, audio and video.
10 minus 8 equals 2. 5 minus 3 equals 2. 7 minus 4 equals 3. 8 minus 4 equals 4. 9 minus 7 equals 2. 3 minus 2 equals 1.
So I'm most pleased with the fact that we are extending our 10 framework, this whole idea that all year I've been trying to get them to see what's in a 10 frame. How can I tell without having to count one by one? And I'm viewing this as an opportunity to extend it. But as I said before, sometimes I have to do a little reteach. So here's a little reteach quick walkthrough. You know, the three of us who were working on this, we were talking a lot about how we are learning new things about Seesaw every day. And so this was like a big aha when I finally figured this out. So you are in, this feed right here is in the journal feed. So this is student work, but every activity has 3 dots at the bottom. And those are those 3 dots. When you press them, you get this menu. And then we get edit the item. So that's what we want to do. I want to give feedback on this subtraction paper. It's a 1-page item. I want to edit it. So I click edit item, and then it's a different piece of work, but the same idea is there. So this activity that we're looking at now, this 5 and 10 frames, had 5 pages to go with it. When we're editing student work, see where it says re-record? I didn't put my arrows, got lost on this one, but it says re-record right there. You don't really want to record over your students, but you can't do anything with that one. So if you press the 3 dots on that first blue square, Liz, just highlight that.
The 3 dots right up
Yep.
here.
Those
Okay.
3 dots will give you a choice to duplicate the slide or delete your slide or page. I guess I call it a page. So you can duplicate it and then move it up to the top. In this particular activity, go ahead and click Liz. I go down to the bottom and I add a page, and then I slide it right back up to the top. I'm going to talk to the students. And I've been worried that if I just talk to kids, they don't know I'm there. So I've been trying to find some way for them to know that I'm there. So I found this Bitmoji sticker, and we'll talk a lot about stickers throughout. So, you know, you'll get more details on it. But I lock it in place, and then I start my directions that I want to do. I press the microphone, which is right there by my hand in the hide. You see that microphone? On this screen, which again, we're going to talk about later, this view right here is like the student view. It's the drawing view on any of your choices. And when you press that microphone, it records everything you write as you are writing it and talking it. It's a really cool feature. And then this was my message. It is a video. It doesn't work here. I didn't highlight it, but I got to redirect three things going on specifically. First, you know, I could say that in kindergarten, we write 10 plus 4. We have been writing 10 plus 4 horizontally. Now we're kind of starting to write it vertically. The parents at home seem to don't know that it exists horizontally. So we've moved to vertical, but I need to redirect what it looks like. So I'm showing her. I could write 10 plus 4. All of that's live while I'm talking to her. And then I could re-teach her again how to make a 4 instead of having all those little lines that kindergartners might have when they make a 4. So it's a great feature. And it's further developing their math talk. It's further developing my teaching with them. And that is the end of part 1.
Lisa, that neon pen.
It's the glow pen. It is so cool. The kids love it.
That really demonstrates when you're talking about teaching numbers how this line goes on top, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's a good point too. That down, over, down some more. That's how you make the number 4. Yeah, the parents don't know that rhyme.
You have a question. How did you load that worksheet into Seesaw?
That's coming up.
Okay, coming up.
That's in part 2, because that was a problem. How do I get my work, the work I wanted to do, the standards I wanted to teach in there? And that's what I had to figure out. And truthfully, it was just figuring it out. So go ahead and move on, Liz.
Oh, there's your arrow for
I wanted to go back to that re-record. Okay, go back one time, re-record. And I kind of covered it earlier. It just took me so long to figure out that if I wanted to edit student work that had been recorded, you have to add a new page, you have to duplicate it, or you press re-record, but when you press re-record, you lose your student work. And I think it's important to value student work, so not to delete it, to just duplicate the page, and then you can do whatever you want on top of it. And now we can move on to part 2.
Maybe. There we go.
So I wanted to do my own stuff. I wanted to keep teaching what I was teaching. And while I love all of the activities, well, maybe not all, I love many of the activities in the Seesaw library, they weren't what I needed. They weren't what my kids needed. They weren't what I'm teaching. So here's the Seesaw library. This is the community library. And then remember, press 1, Liz, and then when we like something, when we press the heart, it saves it to our library. And then this is just kindergarten math. There were 3,648 activities in kindergarten math, not even separated by what content it was, what I was looking for. And for me, that was overwhelming. I'd rather go to my math files that I have organized so I know where they are and create my own activities. So I started, and I'm going to share with you some steps. First, that green plus sign right there in the middle, that's your key to everything. So you press the green plus sign, and then you assign activity. It's taking me a little while to realize every time I want to see activities, just go to assign activities. It's also view activities. It says assign, but it doesn't mean you're assigning right away. That's how you get to that portal. So we press that, and then I'm in my library here, but I want to create a new one. So plus sign, pretty easy. This is the template that you get when you say that. You can do things in any order. You might want to give your activity a name. You can type in your directions, as I have done here. It doesn't matter how you go about it. So go ahead, Liz, move on. So I typed in directions already, and I typed in the code, the Seesaw icon code, which Alyssa and I both disagree. It's been kind of hard to find it. You just Google it. Seesaw icon code, and then you print it out, laminate it, have it with you. Liz, I know you might have it. You gave it to us one of the trainings. I did find a copy of it.
You know what? If I don't already have it linked in Mission Control separately,
That's a great
I'll make
idea.
sure I do
Yeah.
that. So where you see click here for the slides, I'll put click here for icon shortcuts.
Yes, and it's a nice page to have as a printout. With I've learned that every few steps you want to press save, because if you don't press save, it's gone. So go to save down at the bottom, and this is what it will look like. I typed in that code, knowing add is going to give you add response, and add mic gives you the microphone. Those are like the most important ones that I have found. And those 4 I just kind of know by heart now. Now save it again. So you save it, and then the next screen is what you see. Then you have to, it comes back up. You have to go to the 3-dot menu to edit activity. And then you see your activity again, just like you left it. And then you can add your voice instructions, which is wonderful, important, mandatory for kindergarten. You can add multimedia instructions or examples, add template for student responses. That template that comes up looks exactly the same, and that'll be the next screen. So it will be this template. You're attaching an item. It's the same template that comes up when you're also posting, when you're posting announcements to families or to students. It's the template that comes up for students. So I want to talk about upload first. So if you press upload, it lets you choose between Google Drive or your computer. And I can upload my PDFs that I have bought on Teachers Pay Teachers, anything I've created. I can upload anything from my computer on that link. I can upload from Google Slides. The trickiest thing from Google Slides is if it's got links in it on the iPads, they sometimes have trouble viewing those links. So I like to share the link. After you make your link, share with everyone with a link. You're going to type in the link part instead of the upload part, and Seesaw will ask you, they'll say, it looks like you're trying to integrate a Google file. Just say continue. Don't pick the blue button that they're telling you to pick, just go on, and then your file will come up as a PDF. And then uploading photos, uploading videos, which I'd already talked about. I like using it through that upload on the iPad, just uploading my video directly. You can also type in the link for a YouTube video, which I know we're all using, and that's where you're going to upload link. Another thing that I really like to do is the drawing tool. So when you get your drawing tool, this is the page you see. You have all those drawing choices down at the bottom. And I suggest, you just kind of play with them and see what happens. I keep learning new things. Right here, I've got the blue writing tool marker highlighted. When you touch it, it comes up with different widths of the marker, and the last 2 make the dots I use for my 10 frame. So that's perfect. They don't have to do anything. They just touch once with the dot, but it's all kind of trial and error. So this gives you a labeling box. It's a text box, and you can type a title. You can type any text you want. You can make it any color you want. And then the microphone, which we talked about before. The microphone is to record in action. You can do many lessons on this. You can reteach for your students. And this is kind of how my students do a lot of their work. They're pressing record right away, and I see they're writing, they're talking out their thinking as they're doing it. Then you go to the camera, and you have a choice to take a picture or upload from your file here. It doesn't upload videos on this page, but you can upload images, up to 10 per page. And then the 3-dot menu gives you other choices. It gives you background choices and insert shape choices. This quotation mark at the bottom one is called a caption. And that gives you a chance to record a comment over their record, so you don't have to re-record. You can record over that, or you could type a caption to something. Then we have our pen choices. I kind of didn't go over them. The one that's invisible is the eraser. But the glow pen is so much fun. Let's go over, yeah, right there. That's the glow pen. That is so much fun to use. And, I learned it from my students. My students inserted shapes. I'm going, how'd you do that? So, I just kind of figured out, okay, I got to figure it out. Add pages down at the bottom. And again, that took a long time for me to figure out. So activities here don't have to be one page. They can be multiple pages. You can always add a page. And the 3 dots at the bottom of the blue page on top let you delete, duplicate. I think those are the only 2 choices that come up there. All right, I think that's everything on that. So this is what a drawing activity might look like. I chose a background. I used the text box to type things. On this first one here for the directions of the activity, I recorded my directions. I recorded myself writing, you know, that, oh, there are 5 pencils. Let me draw my 5 dots. I have, you know, 2 more in the on the counter, 5 plus 2, and recorded that whole thinking to model. And then this was how a student did it down here at the bottom. And that's the drawing tool. Now, all of this talking takes a long time is what I figured out. And they're mostly 30-second videos, but some of the students like to talk to me too during it. So some of them are getting long. And I had everything I had ever done all year, because I was using Seesaw at the beginning of the year, and kids were turning in stuff they didn't do at school from October, and the whole thing. I said, wait, that's too much. So I said, okay, what's this archive tool? So I started archiving activities. And to do that, you're going to press the 3 dots at the bottom of an activity, and you get a whole bunch of choices, but I wanted to see archive activity. Oh, no, you don't get a whole bunch of choices, because see the gray bar, this is in my assigned to classes. These are the activities I have assigned. So then I only get those 3 choices. I can copy and edit it. Oh, I can edit the activity. I have to read real close because I can't read it. I can get the activity link, which I haven't really done much yet, but I see some shared on Facebook. I'm guessing that's what that means. Or you can archive it. Think about archiving. And when I archive it, it says, do you want to? Yep, I want to archive it. And then it's in the archived spot on your activity file. It doesn't go away. I can still press the gray bar and see who has done the activity, what everything looks like, but I don't have to keep approving it and correcting it, and students can't do it anymore. It's no longer active in their library. It's now archived. It's not deleted, it's just archived. What I love the most about what Alyssa and Caitlin and I have done today is everything is building on each other. So you're going to get some more of this information if it was over your head for right now, which totally makes sense.
All right, Lisa, that was fabulous. We have a question for you. When you archive something, can the kids still see it?
It's no longer active. I think they see it in their journal if they did it. If they didn't do it, it's no longer a choice for them to do.
Okay.
But the work is saved in their journal.
The work is saved, and the work is saved even when I see it. I can click on that gray bar and see everyone's work.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Back to you, Liz.
So now Alyssa Rush, a 2nd grade teacher at Williams, has some more ideas for us.
When Caitlin, Lisa, and I were talking, we discovered that we kind of all had very similar ways that we were using Seesaw for math. So that's why you're getting a little bit of math and a little bit of just extra stuff on how we use Seesaw. So, okay. So the first thing is library organization, because saving things to your library is fantastic, and it's super easy to find if you assign it right away. But if you check back in a couple weeks after you've say you wanted to assign something, you find something really cool for like 2 weeks from now, but you don't assign it, it might be much harder to find later. Or if you want to go back next year, it's going to be hard to find something unless you know exactly what it's called, because you can search for it, but again, you kind of have to know what it was called, or at least something, in order to find it. So you can create what they call collections, but they're really essentially just file folders, because your page is going to start to look something like this, where you have math and grammar and graphic organizers all in one. If you keep scrolling down to the bottom, there's going to be a button that says My Collections. If you don't have any collections yet, it'll have the Create a Collection. So you just type in whatever you want to call it and then press Create. There's another way to add a collection. It's a little bit easier when you're first starting out, is you just press the 3-dot button, and then it'll show you Add to Collection. And then you can just add it to whatever collection you want, or press the arrow for the plus sign, and it'll give you a Create a Collection button. Right now, there's not any way to have a math collection and then collections within your collection. So I'd recommend, as you can see, I broke it down by standards for math, like geometry, measurement data, numbers in base 10. So that way it's easier to find next year, and that way you know you're making sure you're hitting all your standards. For feedback, I don't know about you, but after having 100 activities every few days, sent back, you can only write good job or nice work or fantastic or awesome so many times in the comment box without getting bored yourself. So that's when I started looking at the idea of adding stickers. And stickers could be anything from a Bitmoji of yourself to just a image off of Google or actual stickers, virtual stickers. Okay, so it's an easy and fun way to send feedback that the kids are probably going to notice a lot more than whatever you type in the comment box. It's also a good way if you have like a look down here kind of emoji or something like that to get their attention that you sent them constructive feedback, because sometimes I've been having the kids turn in the exact same assignment after I've sent it back because they're not reading what I'm writing in the comments. You can do Bitmojis. You can get the extension on Chrome and just then sign in with your Bitmoji account, and then you just right click and copy the Bitmoji and then paste it into their work. Or you can, like I said, use just regular clip art from the internet. Or if you just type in Seesaw stickers, digital learning stickers, distance learning, just even stickers into Seesaw, and then go price ascending, there are hundreds of free stickers that you can save to your computer and you don't have to create them.
Okay. I want to add on Bitmoji, super, super fun. That extension is available for staff. You should be able to add it with no problem. Bitmoji, not for students. Students can't create Bitmoji accounts. So although you may see some fun things around the world with people doing Bitmoji with students, not a good fit for California law, but totally use them for teachers.
First, how to add a sticker is basically what this slide is about. And so first you choose the work that you want to add the sticker to. You go to the magic 3 dots. When in doubt, check the 3 dots because it's really just going to give you everything you need. Then you go to edit item, just like you're going to give feedback, and then it'll take you to this page again. And you have a couple options. You can either go to the camera, and when you do that, it gives you 2 options: to take a photo or upload. If you're uploading, this is a good way to do it from an iPad because you can't Control V on an iPad. You just have to make sure you have the stickers in your camera roll, and then you just upload it from your camera roll. The other way, for Bitmoji stickers, you go to the extension and then you right click and copy whatever Bitmoji you want. Make sure you're checking the facial expressions and the exact wording on the Bitmoji before you add it to your work, because sometimes they look cute, but they might be making more adult comments or behaviors. And then you just Control V and paste it into your document. The only way you can do Bitmoji stickers on an iPad though would be as if you save them as an image first. Okay, next one. Okay, so then this one's I'm gonna start with this one and then Caitlin's gonna take off. So we have so many, I feel like we have too many resources now. Like between Teachers Pay Teachers and what we already have and the hundreds of free resource emails you're getting daily, start with what you were already using in the classroom. So use what the district gave you. You can do this I do this for math and I use it for Wonders. You can use the Pearson Vision online platform and then just screencastify or copy the image to create your own activity. So in this example, this is the video that the students would see if they were in class for 13-1, and then the student template is their actual work mat. I just snipped the pages and then uploaded them as images. Okay, next slide. So I know many of you already know how to use Pearson online, but some people may need a refresher. So once you get to however you enter Pearson, probably on your school homepage, you want to be on this page, and then you sign in. Make sure you don't have the dragonfly image in the background because otherwise it won't let you log in. You need the bridge.
So the way to you have to go through your school website. That's a specific to Wainini link. Don't Google to find a link. Go to your school website and go there.
Sometimes if you have the page open and it'll time you out, it'll pop up, even if you have it already on there, it'll pop up as the dragonfly and then you won't be able to get in. Make sure you go back to your school page and refresh the link. Okay, so then there's 2 ways you can get into math. I have to, but ignore the social studies one. Okay, so you can either click on just the words Envision California Math, or you can click on Pearson Realize. It'll take you either way to the same thing. And then if you've set it up, it should look like this, maybe with a different background, but you can, again, click Browse. In the green column, you're gonna click Browse, and then you click on Math, and then it'll take you to basically your table of contents. And then you scroll down to whatever topic you're on and you click on it, and then it'll take you to that table of contents. And so I, for this activity, chose 13.1. So I clicked on 13.1, and then it'll take me to all the resources for that specific lesson. And this will have your quick checks, your visual learning, your daily Common Core review, your practice, and your reteaching, which you can also assign, but Caitlin will talk a little bit more about that. And if you notice, there's 2 videos. The first video that just has the play button is for the teachers. Don't assign that to your students. It's not as exciting as you would hope it could be. So you want to go to the one with the eyeball, and then after you click on that, it'll take you to your video, and then you just get ready to screencastify by pressing the button at the top, and then you just press record. For this particular activity, I would recommend keeping it on your browser tab. That way you don't have anything else on your screen while you're recording. And then this is probably my favorite part, and this is the part that I had to check with Liz to make sure it was legal before sharing it with you, because I didn't want copyright problems. So if you go to the
as we talked about, all of this is fine within the district,
yeah.
right? Making a recording of the video for your students is fine. So we're good.
I have shared everything that I've made from Wonders and from Envisions for 2nd grade. I have already put in the district library.
Thank you.
There is also a way to get a digital version of the student textbook, whether it's the work mats in K2 or the textbook in 3, 5, 6. So if you just go up to anytime you're in the browse section, that top bar that says table of contents, resources, standards, e-text, and tools will always be there. If you go to the e-text, it'll take you to this. It'll give you the teacher's edition, so you don't have to worry about if you've left it at home over the break or distance learning activity time. But the student edition is where you want to go to get the materials you would send to the students. So once you click on it, it'll take you to the cover of the book. 2nd grade doesn't have a cover because they're work mats, but that's what it would be. And then you click on the menu button in the top right corner, and it'll take you to a bunch of different options. Once you click on table of contents, you can scroll down to whatever topic you're on. And then you just click on whatever you need to copy. And then there's a couple different ways you can screenshot without screenshotting. So use the snipping tool if you're on PC, and you would just basically drag a box around whatever you would like to copy to create an image, and then you would save it wherever you want to save it.
That might be a good answer for the question, what if you only want to post one page of a PDF that you have?
Yes.
Is using the snipping tool, right?
Yes. And then if you're on a Mac, which I currently am, you would use Command-Shift-4, and it does the exact same thing. It uses the crosshairs, and you just drag, and it automatically, as soon as you let go, saves it to your desktop. Like I said, once you can use the same concept for Wonders. So what you would do is you would go back to your create an activity, and you would put, there's a couple of arrows, the video under the lesson multimedia example, and then you would just add your pictures and put it for the work mat or text image.
Thank you so much. We have a couple questions. When you were talking about collections, can you delete a collection if you want to change the name of the collection?
Yes, you can go back and edit the name of the collection.
Okay, and then there is a couple questions on where the snipping tool is. So,
on a PC, if you just go to your search and just type in snipping, it should pop up.
okay, we're caught up with questions. Thank you, Alyssa. Back to you, Liz.
Fantastic. Yeah, the search in the bottom left corner, that little Windows button, you'll find it down there. It's a good one. All right, we're going to wrap it up with Caitlin giving us some more details about these things. This is amazing. Caitlin, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So some of the things I'm about to show you are kind of building on what Lisa and Alyssa had already said, but there's also a couple new things, especially that I use in 3rd grade, that you may find useful. Okay, so Alyssa already started us off with how you can record Envision videos. And another tool that I wanted to show you is you can also toggle on this little tool where the arrow is that says embed webcam. And that makes it really neat because it makes it so that a picture of you appears in the bottom right corner. And it's kind of like you're watching the video along with the students. And I like to do this with the videos because I know that the videos pause to ask questions. So I can kind of do a think aloud for the students and really give them further examples. I also wanted to point out that there's these really neat tools that pop up when you embed the webcam where you can write on top of the video. So that is one tool as long as you toggle on that embed webcam feature. And then another thing that I like to do is sometimes I don't really prefer the Envision videos, so I will make my own lesson video. And in that case, on Screencastify, you will just tap webcam only. And I really like this feature because it allows the students to see a bigger image of you, and you can bring in realia and use your whiteboard in the background, or even just a piece of paper works. But this allows you to give specific examples to your students and teach the lesson how you would like to teach it and what they're used to. So that's the webcam only feature. So if you want to create a Seesaw math lesson, first you'll record that video on Screencastify. The next step is it will save to your drive, and as soon as it's done saving, it can take anywhere from 10 seconds to 5 minutes, depending on your internet speed. Then you will copy that shareable link and head over to Seesaw, where you will create the new activity. Thank you, Lisa, for leading them into that and showing them how to do that. So this is just a quick overview. Then you will go to the bottom, and where it says add multimedia instructions, you'll tap that, and then you will click link and paste that shareable link there. And now your video is embedded into your Seesaw lesson. And then this is the next part. So now you need to choose a template for your students to respond on. This is what they will be working on. So thank you, Alyssa, for showing us how to get into the Envision website. That has been really awesome for me to choose activities for the students to do. So here are some examples of some of the pages that the students can work on. I usually choose the quick check, the practice, or the reteach because it really allows the students for successful independent work. So you will choose whatever activity you want here. And then there are a couple options. Alyssa showed you how to use the snipping tool, which is really nice, especially if you don't want the students to do the entire page. Sometimes you can cut and just do half of it. But if you would like the students to do the entire page, you can click download up in the upper right-hand corner, and then it downloads into the bottom handle on your computer. And then you'll head back to your Seesaw activity to add it in. And that is where you will tap add template for student response. And then you will tap uploads if you saved it either in your snipping tool under photos, or if you saved it as a PDF, that is where that will pop up. So you'll tap uploads, choose your document, and now the students can respond directly on top of that template. And this has been the easiest way to record and send out these math lessons to my students is through Screencastify. Okay, so when we left the classroom, we were really getting into starting every day of math with number talks. And the students were finding a lot of success in it. And I was finally having students speak up. So I really wanted to bring this into the online environment. I was looking up on Google how to do a number talk via distance learning, and I couldn't find much. So I did my best, and I kind of changed what I already knew to work in the online setting. So here are the steps that I did to do an online number talk. So first, in your video, I took a video with Screencastify, and I embedded myself with the webcam so that I'm in the bottom corner. And what you do is first you have to tell them the purpose of the number talk. So they will briefly see a collection of dots, and you want them to use mental math to see how many dots are there. But most importantly, you don't want them to just count the dots one by one. So I encourage my students to see these dots in groups. And then you quickly flash the dots. It says 3 to 30 seconds, but I don't ever do more than 3 seconds. And here at the bottom, there's a link to U Cubed, which is run by Joe Bowler, and I highly recommend this website. There are so many math resources and so many dot cards that you can use for your number talk. So right there, she provides sentence frames and step-by-step instructions on how to do a dot card number talk. So that's there for you later. So you will quickly flash those dots for the students. And then you need to provide a template for them to respond on in Seesaw. And remember, you want to encourage them to use the microphone because they are verbally expressing their thoughts using mental math. So I want to point out that this is one of my level 1 English learners. And in class, she never raised her hand. She was so shy when it came to number talk. So hearing this come from her, I was so excited. So I wanted you all.
How many dots did you see and how did you see them? They were 6 dots and I saw them in 3 groups, but they kind of look like stairs.
So as you can see, she was able to express her thoughts and she even took some little notes to help guide her. So it just really goes to show what our students are capable of when we give them the opportunity through this distance learning. And this really made me excited that this gives a center stage for our students that don't speak up in class and they're finally able to express themselves. So I put that template and I said, record on top of this, how many dots did you see and how did you see them? So the most important part, in my opinion, is now that they expressed their thinking, now we need to represent their thinking by showing them a visual. So what you will do is you'll go to the student's response and tap edit item. And from there, it will take you to the page. And like Lisa said earlier, you're going to duplicate that page so that you're not deleting their work and their work will stay there. And that will create another page for you. Or I'm sorry, we're not going to duplicate the page. We're going to add a page for this part. And that's there at the bottom. So now you can either type to them using the label tool, the capital T, or you can use the microphone for your non-readers. So you really just tell them, I heard you say, using a sentence frame like that, and you kind of repeat what they said. And then you can use the shapes tool to represent the dots exactly how they described it. So she said they were like stairs and there were 3 groups. So I did my best to represent that. And then you end with a question like, was this what you saw? And now the student can either respond directly on that page, or a lot of my students love to type in the comments. So she can respond to me. And in this case, the student said, yes, that is what I saw. So once you represent the student thinking, it really cements that you saw their work, you are right there with them, and it's just like a number talk that we do in class. Okay, and we kind of covered this a bit, but I wanted to just reiterate this because we know that when a student sends in incorrect work, we don't want to just approve it and move on. We need to make sure that we provide them feedback and reteaching like we would do in the classroom. So this is a great way to reteach our students when they make a mistake. So when they turn in a work that needs a correction, the first thing that you will do, was there a slide before this, Liz?
There wasn't. I was just looking at that too.
I think maybe they went out of order. Okay, maybe that's supposed to say number 1.
Okay, hang on.
So once you tap on their work, you'll tap the 3 dots on the bottom of their work and you will tap edit item. And I'll go back and fix the slides later so that everyone has the steps in the correct order. So you'll tap edit item, and then up in the upper right-hand corner, you will duplicate that page so that their original work will still live there with the mistakes that they made so that they can look back and reflect on that. Alyssa and Lisa also pointed out that saving that work is really important when it comes to IEPs and IPTs. So then you will click on page 1 because you want that to be the first thing that the students see. And then you will tap the microphone tool. And it's really neat because, as Lisa said earlier, the mic acts as a recording system. So as you're using those tools to provide examples, It's recording that as you write and also recording your voice. So you'll record yourself doing a quick reteach, maybe an example, and then challenge them to try again. So here is my recording that I did here. I wasn't able to upload it. My computer was really slow trying to record on Screencastify at the same time as using the microphone. So I have my example here, and now I will press the check mark to save it. You can also add a little note to your students here. And then this is a key feature. Then you will click the send back so that the students get a notification that they have work to review. And that is a good way to provide feedback and reteaching to your students.
Okay, so I have a couple comments, couple questions. Sarah Brown was mentioning that she had read an article about how many of our introverts are actually thriving with distance learning, and that's somewhat of a silver lining here, and that it's something, you know, we really need to think about when things get back to normal, about how we're offering opportunities for these students. Katie wanted to know, how do the students know that you sent them feedback? How are they notified?
I believe that it comes up in their assignments. So after they send the assignment out to you, it goes away. But I talked to a student yesterday and it actually went back into her assignment box. So that assignment will pop up again and they'll have a little red notification by their activities tab. I believe that's how it works.
One teacher has just been hitting the mic in comments and sending their work back to fix, and is wondering, is that a good idea?
Yeah, that's a great way to do it as well. That's a quick way to do it. That's what I was doing in the beginning. I just started playing with this microphone tool recently. But the cool thing about editing their work and then using the microphone tool is that it's kind of a live action recording where you're writing on the page and they're hearing you speak at the same time. So it really depends on the type of correction. I would say if a student doesn't need much reteaching, then just a quick microphone comment would do the job as well.
And then the question, do you then have them redo the work after you send it back, or?
Yes, so then they will correct their mistakes and they will send it back out to you, and that will come up in your activities to approve the corrected work that they did.
All right, so this isn't a question, but someone did write, absolutely fantastic. This was super helpful. And you ladies are rock stars. Someone also wrote, wowzer. Please thank these ladies for sharing all their wisdom, and HESD teachers rock. Thank you all.
So thank you, Caitlin, Alyssa, Lisa. We really appreciate you taking your time and sharing.
Everybody, I really appreciate all 57 of you that showed up today. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.